everyone, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where it's the beginning of the week, so we're going to be doing a minion roulette. And this week we have the Shigoi larva. Nice. Surprised it's not one of the new minions, because we got a ton of new minions last week. Oh my god. We fished up a few minions, we crafted a bunch, we got a few from the Fall Guys event. I'm surprised none of the new ones popped up, but they'll pop up eventually. So this week is going to be the second half of the content that is available from patch 2.0 from when A Realm Reborn first released. Once we're finished with this week, we're going to be taking a 1-week break before we move on to the first actual post-game patch of A Realm Reborn. So what are we doing today? Today we are getting started on Relic weapons. I have mentioned Relic weapons a lot. I've mentioned my own struggles with them on my main file, and I have mentioned that we're going to be doing them here in the post-game of A Realm Reborn. So what are they? Relic weapons are the best weapons available in any expansion, but unless you are on the most current expansion caught up with the main story, you should not go for them. Don't do it, it's not worth it. So what are Relic weapons? As I mentioned, they're the best weapons in any expansion. But the way you get them is through a very, very slow and tedious grinding process. It's not a completely boring grinding process. The developers do put in some effort to make it an interesting grind, but the purpose of the Relic weapons being so grindy and hard to get is basically to give players who are caught up with the main story something to do while they wait for the next major story patch or while they wait for the next expansion to come out. It is literally just a time sink just to give you something to do while you're waiting for more stuff to come out. Very few people actually do the Relic weapons, and unless you are completely caught up in doing the most current Relic weapon series, it's not worth it to do unless you want them for glamour purposes because they look cool. Because, as I have mentioned before, as once you beat the main game of Realm Reborn, you start getting poetics from any level 50 or higher content, and poetics can be spent on catch-up gear that will get you more than ready for the next expansion. So you do not need to worry about these. I'm going to be doing them because, as I believe I've mentioned, I'm challenging myself to not get any poetics gear in this playthrough. I think it'll be way more interesting to go through the actual proper gear grind. So yeah, we're doing the Relic weapons. I have on my main file done all 10 of the A Realm Reborn Relic weapons. Let me tell you, that is a long process. There is a single step that takes 24 hours to get all of what you need for all 10 weapons, and then the very next step after that takes about 9 hours per weapon for 9 to 12 hours per weapon at best if you're going in at level 90, for a total of over 100 hours for that step if you're going for all 10 Relic weapons. I'm not going to promise that I'm doing all 10 Relic weapons again. I will at the very least do the Relic weapon series for Scholar, and I might try to do the other Relic weapons. I will show what all the Relic weapons look like, because I have done them all on my main, so I can just switch over to my main account and show them there. But, again, I can't promise I'm going to do all of them on this file. Sorry, I just don't have the time or energy to do that again. That was a painful 9-month grind for me. I struggled. That step that takes about 12 hours per weapon killed me. It was bad. So then, let's get started with our Relic weapons. But as we're getting started, I do want to show a few things that we picked up last week. First off, we got upgraded gear. On every single class, every single job, I went ahead and got the Titan weapon. From the hard trials, Ifrit will drop item level 60 weapons, Garuda drops item level 70, and Titan drops item level 80. I got the item level 80 weapons on everyone, except there's no item level 80 sword for Paladin for some reason, so I just got Garuda's weapon instead as the next best thing. So yeah, currently I have all of the best available gear for all of my classes. Some of my jewelry is not fully up to date. I think that's just because there isn't jewelry of the proper item level. that's available through the level 50 single star crafts will have completely improved accessories at some point in the future, but right now, with how I'm playing through the game, this is the best available gear and I'm excited. What else did we pick up? Oh yes, also while I was working on getting the Titan weapons for everyone, I also got Leaving a Good Impression 3 for getting 100 player commendations, giving me the Partisan's Crown. Just gonna pick that up real quick. And I think that's everything I wanted to show, so let's go ahead and get started. Nedrick Ironheart. Nedrick appears concerned about your equipment. How fares the adventuring of late? Your gear holding up against the rigors of the trade? Make no mistake, my friend, the quality of your weapon may well prove the difference between life and death. If you're serious about such things, there's someone I can introduce you to. Her name is Rowena, and she is a collector of all manner of rare artifacts. She just might have something in her stock to suit your martial prowess. Rowena used to do business in Old Daw, but has since relocated to Revenant's Toll, so as to be nearer to the ancient ruins from which she derives her livelihood. Should you ever have reason to go there, you'd do well to pay her a call. Rowena. I have mentioned her in the past. She is a vicious trader who tends to put a lot of people in very severe debt to her. It would not be fully inaccurate to call her a debt slaver. She is horrendous. But she is unfortunately the best source of literally all of your endgame content, of all your endgame gear. So we're gonna have to go talk to her. Alright, Rowena, hi. Unfriend in Nedrick's, are you? Then you must be an adventurer of some skill. My business relies on capable people such as you. As a gesture of goodwill, I'm going to share with you a morsel of information. Well, there's this bloke named Geralt. Makes his living in weapons and armor and whatnot. They say his skill is the finest in all the realm. Might be as it's gone to his head though, folks don't take to the man if you get my meaning. Oh, and he likes a drink and all. Bloody buyer got himself in the forge though. As a young lad, he was cast out on his ear by his master for the crime of crafting finer wares, and that while piss drunk. Ever since, he's roamed here and there, earning his keep day to day. I have known Geralt ever since I landed in this business. Ain't seen him for a while though, and the last time I did, the old fool had tears in his eyes and snot dripping from his nose. Fallen on hard times, he said. Asked for a bit of coin to tide him over. Never paid me back neither. Couldn't say for sure where he is now. Seemed to remember hearing he was on the Black Shroud, putting up at Hearsmill or some such place. You might do well to commission his work. He'll even reforge the relics of old if you make it worth his while, and there ain't no other in Eorzea as can do that. If it's relics you care to know about, I have a promise of payment what might catch your fancy. It don't look like much, but it'll get old Geralt to fire up his forge. That much I promise. Alright then. Let's go meet up with Geralt then. Off to Hearsmill. Alright, been a while since we were last here in Hearsmill up in the North Shroud. Last time we were here, we learned about Aelbert. Very, very tragic man. Literally cast out of Gridania just for wanting to give his sister a gift and being too young to know better about stealing. Kinda fucked up, but... Alright, hello there, Geralt. I've been told you can craft me very powerful weapons. Got business with me, have you, adventure? Then there'd better be coin or drink in it. Elsewise, bugger off back to wherever it was you came from. Restoration work on an old weapon, you say? Ha, what makes you think I'd fire up the forge for a grimy old... Well, I've been told this promise of payment would do something for you. So a slip of parchment signed by the weaponsmith Geralt, documenting monies borrowed from Rowena. Oh, she's not promising to pay him. She's blackmailing him. Got it. Gads, where in the seven hells did you get that promise of payment? I ain't got no coin, I tell you. Nay, not a single bloody gil. God, just look at me. How far I've fallen. Me, the greatest weaponsmith of our age, hammering out dints and kettles to pay off a tavern debt. Can you even begin to grasp my humiliation? Can you? Bah, of course you can't. Why don't even bother asking? Alright, I'll restore your bloody weapon. Just get that goddamn slip of paper out of my sight. I don't feel good about this, but... This quest can only be undertaken when playing as one of the following jobs: Paladin, Warrior, Monk, Dragoon, Bard, Ninja, Black Mage, Summoner, White Mage, or Scholar. Basically, one of the Around Reborn jobs. In order to accept the Relic Reborn, you must first complete the level 50 quest for one of the previously mentioned jobs. Each job has its own Relic Reborn quest, and the completion of which will earn you the Relic weapon for that job. Please note that you can only undertake one Relic Reborn quest at any given time. If you wish to acquire a different relic weapon, you must either complete or abandon the current quest. Alright, Geralt, let's do this. Geralt has the air of a man defeated. Just let me make one thing clear. It might be as I'm repairing kettles to pay for yesterday's mead, but I still got me pride as a master weaponsmith. You'll get no less than the finest out of me, Forge. And it might be as you've got that goddamn slip of paper, but it'll only get you so much. Restoring relics like these calls for some rare old materials, and I ain't got none. So if you want the job done, you'll have to run along and fetch them for me. So what is it you want restored? Looking for a scholar weapon. Fancy yourself a scholar, eh? Like one of them has helped the nation of Nim preserve its sovereignty during the War of the Magi way back when. I know a bit about them, as it happens. Yeah, Geralt knows a lot, actually. He's a very, very well studied. Which, honestly, really appropriate for a master weaponsmith. Knows all about the cultures that these weapons came from. They were a right clever lot, those scholars. Thanks to their brilliant strategizing, the Nimians never failed to throw back would-be conquerors no matter how badly they're outnumbered. Like I always say, it ain't the size what matters, but how you use it. Ahem. Any road. Take jokes aside, 'tis a copy of the Omnilix you want, a right bleeding rare grimoire which supposed to contain all the military tactics ever conceived by man. Unlucky for you, though, they don't make them like they used to. Which is to say, not anymore. But if your heart's set on a copy, you might try Rowena about Western Lenosia. If I remember rightly, the Nimians used to have a port over there, but it's long since become a Sahagin lair. The Sopsa spawning grounds, it's called. Alright, so, for the most part, relic weapons will have effectively identical quests between all of the jobs. The only quest that I know of that has a difference in between jobs is this very first one, and the differences are only slight. This very first quest, the only differences will be where we are sent to collect items or fight enemies. And I will take note of each step that changes from job to job as we get to it. Case in point, this is the first step that actually changes from job to job, but in every case, we are simply looking for the Timeworn copy of whatever relic weapon we wish to craft. If you wish for help in completing the steps for other relic weapons, there's plenty of resources on the internet. Listen, relic weapons are a huge time sink, as I said. They are intended to be a time sink so that you have something to do to pass the time between patches and expansions. I cannot be bothered. Listen, it's just, that is an effort that I simply do not have the capability of putting in. I would love to, but I just don't. Alright then, so, yes, I am flying over. I probably shouldn't. Alright, well, in previous side questing episodes, we made our way about here and went up that way to get to the Reaver's Den. So I guess we can just start from here and go on foot the rest of the way to get to our time-worn copy of the Omnilix. It would be so much easier to just fly to where it's at, but it feels weird to me. Though I guess also, to be fair, I could also just put that restriction on me for things that are required for main story progression, so at least in that sense I would be playing the game, quote, appropriately. Listen, I have weird internal rules. My brain's just like that. I'm gonna try to make myself less bleh. Okay, looks like the treasure coffer we're looking for is over here. But first, we're gonna need to get rid of you. Are you still gonna come after us, or are you gonna... Oh, no! Dang it! Okay, well, quickly grab it before we get attacked again. There we go. Got our copy of the Omnilix. Let me clear you out, and then I'll meet everyone back with Geralt. Alright, hello Geralt. I return to you with a time-worn copy of the Omnilix. This is a copy of the Omnilix you want, the right bleeding rare grimoire, what's supposed to contain all the military tactics ever conceived by man. Yeah, I've got it. Don't worry about it. You don't need to repeat yourself. The Relic Grimoire Omnilix, in such poor repair as to render it unfit for use. Well, bugger me. Never in me wildest, drunkest dreams did I imagine you'd actually find the bloody thing. Bah, so I'll have to fire up the old forge after all. Having said that, the relic's in far worse shape than I thought. and ain't like to survive much pounding in this state. Truth be told, I'd be worried about sneezing near it. We're gonna need a new host what'll give itself for the restoration. Bring me an Erudite's Picatrix of Healing, one with 2 grade 3 quick tongue materia melted to it. This will serve as a vessel for the restored relic. Remember, that's 2 grade 3 quick tongue materia. Less and you'll get naught from me no matter how many slips of paper you wave in me face. Alright, so the weapon that you need to provide for him here is going to be for every class, for every job, if you go into your crafting log, you can find at level 50, 1 star, there's going to be 1 weapon craftable for each job. Let's see, can I find... For example, with the Dragoons, we have Champion's Lance. With Bards, we have Longarn's Composite Bow. If we go over to Alchemists, we can find the Summoner and Scholar weapons. Every job's going to have a level 50, 1-star crafted weapon that you can get. That is going to be what you use for this step. The materia is also going to vary based on what type of weapon you are providing and what your job specifically likes to make use of. So we need 2 quick tongues, tier 3, and we have plenty of that. Oh, that's perfect. Don't need to go find any on the market board after all. And generally, these level 50 1-star weapons you need to provide are going to have one of their materials be some sort of bloody weapon found in the Wanderer's Palace. Alright, hello there, Geralt. You need to bring me an Erudite's Picatrix of Healing, one with 2 grade 3 quick tongue materia. Got it. I could hammer one out in me sleep, but then I could wipe your arse without much trouble, and I ain't planning on doing that either. Seems you'll just have to do both yourself, eh? Don't worry, I got my Picatrix. Yes, I don't think you need to use a high quality, but I'm gonna do it. 'Tis a fine base you brought me. Just the thing to host your relic. I've merged what was left of the relic with the host weapon, so the groundwork's done. But don't go jumping for joy just yet. There's still more to do. I need to work on the finishing touches, but due to the reinforcement work I've had to do, your book's proven rather stubborn to mend. To get around this, we'll be needing some alumina salts, a substance made by grinding a rock called alumina into fine grains. Unlucky for you, though, it ain't easy to get a hold of. Mayhap you already know this, but there's beasties out there would devour their prey whole, and some of them swallow rocks so as to aid with digestion. The Dorm Chimera, what terrorizes the central highlands of Kurthus, happens to swallow alumina salts for this purpose. Slay the bugger and bring me the alumina salt, and I'll see to finishing touches on your weapon. Alright. We need to head up to our quest destination at the Weeping Saint in Kurthus Central Highlands. And this will give us a trial, an 8-player trial. Alright, let's head on up to Kurthus, and at least unlock the trial. Alright, to get to where the Chimera is found, so we can take on the trial. We're going to be heading out the northeast gate of Camp Dragonhead, flying all the way up to the north towards the Steel Vigil, and then from there it's a bit further to the northeast, into the cave up there. Oh, this blizzard makes it hard to see, but up into this northeastern cave. Now, unfortunately, as I mentioned, it's generally not recommended to do the relic weapons unless you really do want to get them for glamour purposes. They are not the best weapons available anymore now that we have the catch-up gear available. And they are a huge grind to do. So I don't know if I'm actually going to have enough people, enough friends who have unlocked the duty that we can do an 8-player trial together. I'm going to try and get people together, but failing that, I'll probably have to end up running it with randos, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't want to drag random people into my Let's Plays if possible, but if I have to, I have to. Alright, I was not able to get a full party of 8, but I was able to get 5 people gathered in total. We have with us Patch, Altani, and Anna, all veterans of my videos, and newcomer Marita Ebene, who has adopted me as her younger sister, which is actually really, really... Alright then. We weren't able to get a full 8, so we're not going to be able to do anything like... Not going to be able to do anything like mine settings like we did for the primals, so let's just go ahead and hop right on in for the Chimera. And since we're going in with Randa, let me switch away from the chat. Alright, where's that last tank? This usually happens with DPS, not with tanks. Tanks and healers are usually on top of confirming because they usually ping for their Q instantly, while DPS can take a while since most people play DPS. Alright, let's do this. The Chimera is very similar to the Chimera of Cutter's Cry. Just, you know, an unknown level, and this is a level 50 trial. So we're going to go ahead and stand back since we are playing as our healer. Stand back, put up a shield on the main tank. Yeah, let's use a high potion of mine and do a bit heavier damage. My usual rotation at level 50 Scholar is put down a Sacred Soil on cooldown, just for that damage reduction. It's not the best use of Ether Flow, but it's not a bad use of Ether Flow. At this level, Ether Flow is far better used for things like Energy Drain and Lustrate. But I don't know, it feels good to have that damage reduction. At the same time I use Sacred Soil, I'll also use Bio 2 since they... Oops. That was a mistake. I was not paying attention. And I got hit by an AoE. That was foolish of me. Oh, this is getting a little bit chaotic. But yes, as I was saying, the cooldowns for Sacred Soil and for Bio are about the same, so it's usually good to put them up at the same time. Okay then, let's see. Thank you all four of you for joining me for this. I'll probably see you all again a bit later if we hit another trial in the future. Alright, hello Geralt. I returned with the Illumin Assaults. Just a dozen more kettles and it's off to the You again? What in the 7 hells do you want this time? I got the Illumin Assaults you asked for. And of course the adventure comes back triumphant. Should have bloody known not even the Chimera would be able to put you out of me misery. You were really hoping for us to die. Wow. Hand over those Illumin Assaults and I'll get right to work. Or maybe he was more hoping we'd give up and go away. There, the deed's done. I've squeezed out every ounce of me skill to restore your weapon, and I think you'll agree it looks the part. There's something missing somehow, though I'm buggered if I know what. The piece just lacks a certain glow, as it were. We need to learn more about the relic. Literature surrounding the heroes associated with it would be a fine place to begin, but I ain't exactly as scholarly, and I ain't the slightest inkling of where to get my hands on such stuff. As much as I hate to say this, Rowena's probably the one to talk to. Thing is, I'd sooner shove hot kettles up me arse sideways than owe that thrice-damned Harridan another debt. You're gonna have to make yourself useful once again. Take yourself to Rowena and ask for her help, and return here once you've learned something what might be of use. Alright, back to Rowena. What debt are we gonna end up in for this? Alright, Rowena, I return, and I need your assistance. Why does she have to be the most well-connected person in Eorzea? Why does it have to be her? Like why? This is the worst person to be the most well-connected person in Eorzea. You're looking a bit more run down than before. Your dealings with Geralt taking their toll? Actually, forget I even asked. My mouth tastes of bile if I so much as think of that sorry specimen. So, is there something you need? Yeah, I'm looking for a way to improve the weapon further. Literature on the heroes of old who once wielded your weapon. I reckon I can find what you need. Might take a bit of time is all. Of course, this ain't a charity I'm running here. I can get you what you want, but you'll have to do likewise for me. I'll track down literature on the military scholars of old. And for your part, you're to bring me an Amdapor glyph. You'll find this inside Amdapor Keep, a ruined castle situated in the South Shroud. Clear on the deal? Then run along and fulfill your part of it. Alright, so we have to do Wanderer's Palace to get the materials we need to craft the base weapon, and we have to do Amdapor Keep to get the next upgrade step. That's both of the post-game dungeons. We're gonna end up doing all of the post-game content again, aren't we? Alright, since we already did Amdapor Keep before, I'm gonna go ahead and do it off screen, no need to show it again, and I'll be back once I have that. Alright, got the Amdapor glyph. Now let's go ahead and hand it over to Rowena, and thankfully that's going to pay off our debts real quick, so we're not gonna owe you anything, Rowena, is that right? Clear on the deal, then run along and fulfill your part of it. Yeah, we're not gonna owe you anything, we're not gonna get into debt with you. We're gonna be very careful about this because we've heard the horror stories. Good on you. This is exactly what I was after. You've honored your part of the bargain, and so I'll do the same. Alright, now we got a copy of War of the Magi. Let's go deliver it to Geralt. Alright, hello there, Geralt. I bring you the book we were looking for. Back to pester me so soon? Judging from that smirk on your face, I take it you found what you need. Yeah, thankfully I was able to stay out of debt to Rowena, so I'm not in your shoes. I'm so sorry, friend. This text is about the military scholars of old, alright? But God, would it have killed the bugger that wrote it to use normal bloody words? It'll take me bleeding moons to get through this lot. Time I could be spending on kettles. Well, I try to make head or tail of it all. Why don't you take this here unfinished Omnilix and try it out? As I mentioned before, it's still missing something, but it's all there shape-wise, meaning it should serve you just fine as an ordinary weapon. Seeing as you're a ripe old scholar, maybe you'll be able to fill out exactly what it wants for. Not to say, get out there and fight some nasty foes as the scholars who went afore you must have done back in the day. The Sopsa spawning grounds over in western Lenosia ought to serve your needs. Pit yourself against some Sopsa shelf spine, shelf claw, and shelf tooth. 8 of each, say, then come back and tell me what you've gleaned. With the information in the text and your first-hand experience, I reckon we'll solve this puzzle yet. Alright, this is another one of those steps that varies based on whichever job you are playing. In our case, okay, where did it end up? Where is the base weapon? Should be, oh, I see it. Unfinished Omnilix. Only item level 50? Fair enough, it is unfinished. But yes, he's going to send you, I believe, to the area where you found the ruined copy of whatever weapon you are working on. So, I'm going to head back to Sopsa, and we're going to fight 24 enemies. I won't show all of the fights, I'll just show where each enemy is, and maybe a fight against 1 or 2 of them. Alright, we're coming back up on Sopsa spawning grounds, the same exact area where we found our ruined copy of the Omnilix. And there are plenty of enemies around. Shelf Tooth, Shelf Claw, and where's the Shelf Scale was the last one? Here. Oh, Shelf Spine, my bad. Oh, that works too. I didn't have to put the camera down to read that. I could have put it up so that it's pointed into the fog. But where are those Shelf Spines? It should be around here as well. I'm gonna guess probably over that way. Probably the quest marker I see just beyond the gate. Yeah, there you are. There's a Shelf Spine. Alright then, let's go ahead and kill you off. And then I'll go ahead and take care of the rest of the fighting off screen and meet you back with Geralt. Alright, see you in a bit. Oh, while I was doing that, looks like at least one of those enemies was also on our Twin Adder hunting log for tier 3. Nice. Which means I'm probably going to end up killing the other hunting log enemies, well, if I end up working on the other relic weapons as well. It's fine. I'll be sure to show where they're at. Alright, Gerald, I return with a bunch of dead Sahagin. Back already? By the frown you're wearing, I take it you've got nothing to show for your time with the fishbacks. Might be as you want for better sport, and I know just the creature what'll give it to you. The Hydra what reigns over the fiends within Halatali. A nasty piece of work that. Try not to piss your britches when you see it. Alright, looks like we've got another trial coming up. Off to Halatali, which means off to Thanalin. Alright, Halatali can be found here in eastern Thanalin, just to the south of Camp Drybone. I'm coming from near Little Alamigo. And looks like people are already gathering. Hello, Altani. Let me get the rest of the party ready and then we'll be good to go. Let's also make sure we've unlocked the Hydra. Alright, same party as before. Everyone is currently gathering here at Halatali. Mary should be here soon, and then we'll be ready to go. Looks like Mary's coming from Camp Drybone. And yeah, since we have to go in with the unfinished Omnilix, we're going to be going in with a bit of an underleveled weapon, but that should be fine. The rest of our party is more than capable. Actually, I am curious, what's the minimum item level for the Hydra? It is 52. Same with the Chimera. Alright, let's begin. And let me get off the chat window since we're going to be having 3 randos with us. Again with a tank? This is definitely unusual to have tanks be the last ones to respond. Usually DPS takes a long time for you to get through the queue, so it makes sense for DPS to sometimes wander away from keyboard, but tanks is a little odd. Nope, one of the tanks dipped. Alright. Why are people like this? Goodness. Please. I understand being away from keyboard, well, if the queue's taken a while, but we just had 4 DPS confirmed. So what happened here? What the heck happened? Where did the missing DPS go? Alright, let's do this. Hello, Hydra. Thankfully, in this game, we don't have to get up on the Hydra's back. Alright, old memes aside, let's do this. I don't recall the Hydra being particularly hard. I think it has a fear mechanic where it can make you flee from it, and that can be annoying? Yeah, I think it has a couple different mechanics, but since we're not going in on mind settings, it should not be a threat. Oh, but it summons a wyvern friend. Lovely. Just what we need. Okay, get that bio back on you. Oh, fear itself. That's the ability that causes everyone to flee from it. Okay, Is it that we can't be looking at it? I think I was looking at it, so that may have been my bad, but I didn't see a gaze icon. Alright, Altani's down, so as soon as I'm not panicking... Let's get everyone healed up. Nope, I'm dead. Okay, wow. What the heck? What happened here? Okay, so we need to figure out how to not get hit by fear itself. I'm going to assume the issue is we are looking at it, but I didn't see a gaze marker. Well, I'll take the win. I'll take it. This is perfectly acceptable. Alright, well, I'll give the commendation to the one person still sticking around. I'm being told that fear itself is a donut. I think that means you just need to stand in close to it? Okay, yeah, you just gotta stand in close to avoid fear itself. Got it. That's a weird mechanic. I don't like that it doesn't show you any markers. That's weird. That's definitely weird and not how this game's usually designed. Alright, well, thank you to everyone who joined, all four of my friends who joined me for that. I'm gonna go finish the Relic now. And I'll meet you back at Geralt for us to finish this. Alright, Geralt, I am back. Also, apparently, Patch had a just real life thing come up, and that is part of why they died so easily. But also, that was just a weirdly rough fight. What the heck? I don't like that it didn't give us the forewarnings on mechanics. That kind of breaks how the game normally plays, and I don't like that very much. You're still alive, somehow. Why the hell do you adventurers have to be so goddamn sturdy? I was bloody sure you'd be Hydra dung by now. But what's done is done, or in this case, not done. Anyway, let's talk about that text you brought. It contains accounts of the major clashes what took place during the War of the Magi. The entry on the Battle of the God's Grip jumped out at me. This was when the Endymions took the Amdapori host by surprise as it made its beach landing, taking the siege to the besiegers, as it were. As they're wont to do, the scholars played a key role in the victory, though that didn't interest me near as much as the passage would touch on the Omnilex. Turns out the patterns on the cover are meant to improve the flow of ether from the wielder's hands, and I thought them merely decorations. You learn something new every day, eh? As you can see, I've done my research. I trust you've also been pulling your weight, putting the relic to use like I said. Well, go on then. Tell me what you've learned. Also, let me make sure I've switched back over to off the chat so randos don't get caught up. Is that so? I had wondered about that. Based on what we'd gleaned from the text and your first-hand experience, I'll rework the relic so as to improve your affinity with it. Hand it over for a second, will ya? Yeah, let me just go ahead and take it off, get my Titan weapon back on for now. Based on what we've gleaned from the text and your first-hand experience, yep, you've already said this. Here you are, friend. There, the deed's done. That leaves us with one last step. That is, fully merging the old relic, the new host, and the soul of the bearer. That's you. Only then can the weapon be restored to its former glory. But to do this, I need a fire what's hotter than the seventh hell, and to keep such a fire alive and raging, I need a wind what's fiercer than the hangover I had last week. God, you know what I mean. Just give me a white hot ember, a howling gale, and a chunk of hyperfused ore, and I'll finish your bloody weapon. And I need me a bottle of Rodzehan quenching oil as well to cool it off. Alright then, these can be gathered from the hard variants of the primal fights. I'm not doing mine again. I did mine for the episodes, I'm not doing mine again. And we can get the Rodzehan quenching oil by exchanging 15 elegant tomestones of poetics with Oriana, one of Rowena's assistants at Revenant's Toll. Alright then, let's start off by going to get the quenching oil, and then I'll queue up and run Bowl of Embers, the Howling... It's Howling Eye, right? It's I just think of it as Garuda. I'll queue up for Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan. I think it has to be in that specific order as well. It definitely has to be in the correct order or you won't get the items. Alright, hello Ariana. Special arms, we're gonna get ourselves a Rodzehan quenching oil, can only have one at a time. And while we're here, get 3 Thavnarian Mists. 60 poetics in total, plus 15 for the quenching oil, 75 poetics, and we'll be making use of that pretty soon. Now then, I'll be back once I've run those 3 trials, starting off with Bowl of Embers. Alright, got the white hot ember. Next up, we need to run Howling Gale. I'll head back to Geralt, and then I'll run Howling Eye to get a Howling Gale. Alright, got the Howling Gale. Now all that's left is a run of the Navel. Alright, got the chunk of hyperfused ore, and a bunch of my gear just hit max spirit bonds, so let's extract all that real quick. Get that all out, so we've got a bunch of new materia to work with. Ooh, we've got tier 4 materia coming our way. Now that's exciting. Okay, not quite yet on there, but that's at 99%, so it is just about. Alright, Geralt, I bring to you all the items. So you're back. Never doubted for a second you'd trounce all 3 primals and come back to pester me again. Alright then, let's see the White Hot Ember, the Howling Gale, and the Hyperfused Ore. Yeah, they are all right here. These ought to get me the levels of heat I need, which leaves just the Rodzehan quenching oil for cooling things off afterwards. You've got that too, I assume? I do indeed. Alright. Hand over the quenching oil. You've done your part, and so I'll do mine. Watch now and try not to bat your eyelids, and every day you get to see a Relic Reborn. Mwah! Mwah! These gods-given hands have worked yet another miracle. Feast your eyes on the Omnilex, just as it was in the days of yore. 'Tis a sight to move a man to tears, you lucky bastard. You'd better bloody well take care of it. And we get our Omnilex. Alright then, and we get an achievement, The Reader. Let's go ahead and check out that Omnilex. Let me get it equipped. Oh, it's not recommended over the Holy Key of Titan. Interesting. Let's do an item comparison. Same stats for the most part, but swap out Piety for spell speed. Auto attack is also slightly lower. Interesting. Alright, well, we're gonna put on the Omnilex because it is our relic weapon, even if it is apparently slightly worse than the Titan weapon. And let's take a look at that. That is quite the pretty book, actually. Gold trim on the edge of the pages. Very nice embossing on the book. Alright, what do you say we immediately upgrade it? Let me go ahead and put on the Holy Key of Titan again, and Remember how I had said you should probably buy... Where is it? It's somewhere in my inventory. I said you should probably buy the Thavnarian Mist. Who is it that I talked to? I think, do I just go to the furnace? Yeah, just go to the furnace and stick in your stage 1 relic weapon with 3 Thavnarian Mist. And we're going to be bumping it up to stage 2 already. +1 to our magic damage, +5 to vitality, 4 to mind, 3 to determination, and... Right, piety is swapped out for spell speed, and it'll be +4 to spell speed. Alright, let's do it. Get our stage 2 relic weapon. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Look at that. Let's take a look at how it actually, looks. Oh, it glows. It is effectively the exact same weapon, but now it has a glow around it to show off that it is very powerful, brimming with energy. All right then. Let's go ahead and finish this off by doing a quick showcase of the other relic weapons you can get. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my main account real quick, and we'll check that out. God, I just arrived here at Gerald's workshop so I could show off the other relic weapons, and one of my friends just sent me an image. They have a paladin shield that increases your skill speed by 60. Shield that makes you hit fast. God, it's so stupid. All right. So thankfully, once you have finished off each stage of your relic weapon, you can actually buy replicas. Where is it? Here we go. Replicas of the... Replicas of the other relic weapons you have made. The previous stages and the most recent stage. So as long as you make it to the correct stage of your relic weapon, you can buy them again for glamour, but only for glamour. They're really, really cheap and really crappy stats, as in no stats. So let's see. Let's go ahead and start off with... We'll look at the paladin weapons first. We've got the unfinished Katana replica. Try that on. And how do I... Here we go. Can I... This will just have to be good enough. So here's the unfinished paladin sword. The stage 1 paladin sword. Much more detail on it. Very nice. We can zoom way in to get a good look at all that detail. And the stage 2 paladin sword. Which, unfortunately, it is actually going to let us draw the weapon, so we can take a look at the glowy effects. Very nice. Okay, next up, after the paladin, we have, oh yes, the paladin shield. The relic weapons for paladin are a bit odd because they give you both the sword and the shield. And you kind of need to do both of them together. The costs of any times you need resources for upgrading your relic weapons for paladin are the same as any other job, but it's split weirdly between the shield and the sword. Like 70% of the resources go towards the shield and goes towards the sword, and 30% goes towards the shield or something like that. And here's the stage 2. Same thing, just glowy. Okay. Next up, we have the Kaiser Knuckles, which are going to be the Sphirai, the monk weapon. The unfinished Sphirai. Let's go ahead and stop bouncing around so we can get a good look at this. They kind of got like a lion face on them. Okay, there we go. Zoom in again. Take a look at that. Stop bouncing around, please. Sheath it. Sheath it so we can actually take a good look at it. Where are they? Oh, they're buried underneath my hands and underneath my belt. Okay, well, that's about the best look you're going to be able to get for these. Take a look at the finished Sphyri. Come on. Why? Why is the bounciness make it so hard to zoom or to move around? Same design, just far more detailed, polished. And then again, same thing, but glowy. Okay, that's Monk. Next up, we have the Ragnarok, which is the Bravra. That is the warrior's weapon. All right, unfinished warrior weapon. Unfortunately, can't rotate to get a good angle on it like this. Let's sheath it. All right, yeah, very dull, unfinished. And then the completed one, far more shiny and polished. Look at that detailing. And then, of course, same thing but glowy. Alright, next up is the... After Warrior, we have Longinus. That is going to be Dragoon's final stage. Yeah, Gay Bulge. I love Gay Bulge. What a great name. Thank you so much, whoever called it the Gay Bulge. That is a beautiful name. Yeah, let's sheath you to get a better look. Kinda looks like a dragon wing. I guess that makes sense, since dragoons draw their power from dragons to kill dragons. Next up, the finished Gay Bulge. Ooh, look at that detailing on the wing. Ah, beautiful. I do like these designs. These are great. And then we have the Stage 2. Same but glowy. Alright, next up after Dragoon is going to be the Bard's weapon, the Artemis bow. Alright. Ooh, take a look at that. Is it folded up on my back? Let's draw that. Oh, look at that. It's even got a little bit of a harp at the end of it. Huh. Oh, I like that a lot. I mean, that makes sense that the bow would also have the harp attached since you're playing as Bard, but... Okay, next up we have the finished Artemis bow. Not just a pale bone white, now it's got detailing and other colors on it. And then the Stage 2. Nope, not search. Try on. Same thing but glowy. Okay, next up after the Bard is going to be Ninja. The Yoshimitsu. Alright, Yoshimitsu. Take a look at these knives. Plain knives, they look a little bit possibly chipped. They're either serrated or chipped, and I can't tell what the intent is. Well, we'll be able to tell when we look at the finished Yoshimitsu. Okay, yeah, they're serrated. Got it. Those are very lean daggers. Ooh, hold on. There's a little decoration at the end. Nice. I wonder what's in that. Probably like some sort of smoke powder to help you get away in a pinch. And then same thing but glowy. Okay, after Ninja we have... Nirvana is going to be the White Mage's weapon, Thyrus. Alright, unfinished Thyrus. A bit faded in a few places. And it's got kind of like an angelic tip to it. What is that gemstone? Interesting. Alright, next up we have the finished Thyrus. Coloring down on the staff is largely the same, but it's more of like a brown bronze-ish color. Ah, the gem's a lot more polished. Yeah, there we go. And then it's of course going to be the same thing but glowy. Okay, after White Mage, what's next? We have, after Nirvana, is Lilith Rod, and that's gonna be, yeah, that's gonna be Black Mage, the Stardust Rod. Okay, let's take a look at that. Come on. Come on, camera. I don't like that he uses inverted controls for this. Hang on, is there a way to fix that? No. Okay. Yeah, this is a very, like, dull... I mean, it's unfinished. That makes sense. Very dull design. Curious what this is supposed to be. It'll be easier to tell once we look at the finished version. Alright, Stardust Rod replica finished up. Ooh, 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 look at that. Look at that gemstone. I'm not quite sure what the design's supposed to be, but that looks kind of sick. I like that. And then we have the Stardust Rod Zenith. Same thing, but glowy. Ooh, hold on, is the gem have its own specific glow? Interesting. I like that. Okay, next up, after the Lilith Rod, the Apocalypse is going to be the Summoner Weapon. And this will be the last one we take a look at. Here's the unfinished Veil of Wii. Not too much interesting going on with the pages beyond just, like, general formulas. Hold on, is that the Vitruvian Man? But, like, obviously not exactly the same as a Vitruvian Man. No gold trim, but it's the unfinished one, so that's fair. Oh, that coloring's much better. Ooh, hoo, hoo, shiny indeed. Hang on, let me... Kind of looks like there's a compass rose on there and stars. I like that. Ooh, that's pretty. The trim's not quite as nice as on the Scholar weapon, but that's just because Scholar's better. I'm biased. We all know I'm biased. Oh, and there was a gemstone at the tip too. And finally, same but shiny. And then we've already seen the Scholar weapon, so yeah, I think that's gonna be about it for showing off the other first two stage Zodiac Relic weapons. So then, with that, our Relic weapon first two stages are done out of 8 stages total. Next time on Final Fantasy XIV, now that that's done, let's go get introduced to another new feature that's available. We're gonna go be introduced to Adventure Squadrons and the Hunt Board. I'll see everyone next time for that.